Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. We're just getting set up here. Won't be long now until we begin. How is everybody doing today, then? I'm not gonna lie, I forgot how bad things were. Hello there, Ejaculus. How you doing, my friend? Hello there, Red Star. How you doing, my friend? So how is everybody today? How are you all doing? Really quite excited to be back? That does sound fantastic. Aye, Senor Hitler. Oh, thank you, man. That means a lot. This is what I've been looking for some time now. Is really trying to understand how our supplies have been used. See, what I find interesting is the fact that we can see armaments being consumed here, and we can see how many have arrived at frontline units. So, for example, 20,000, almost 21,000 tons of ammo arrived to the frontline units. See, that's quite bad, actually. We need almost 14,000 tons of supply, and just under 10,000 tons have arrived. This is bad. Are you going to play with the Soviets anytime soon? We could do in the future, actually. The Soviets are definitely an intriguing faction to play as well, aside to play as. They do actually have significantly different mechanics to the Reich, which is actually really rather interesting. I think, yeah, in the future we could definitely do something with the Soviets. I think that'd be rather cool. Okay, just one more minute. Yeah, definitely so many Soviet units here. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to XTRG's challenge. So, we're finally up to episode 7, which is actually rather remarkable. I think we're definitely at a make-or-break situation here. We do have the Soviet advance to the north around Königsberg, which may soon become Kaliningrad, depending on how the war flows. We do need to reduce the combat width. Everything does depend on this turn here. It does depend on these units over here to Königsberg. We do have the 23rd SS Panzer Grenadier Division, the 561st Volksgrenadiers, the 286th Infantry Division. Now, let's see. Your supply is coming from... Where's it coming from? It's coming from your actual core headquarters here. When are they sourcing their supply from? I'm going to imagine Königsberg. Actually, Braunsberg, or Braunsberg. What do I actually have here in Königsberg? Obviously, we do have a large amount of supply and fuel. It is the supply source for the 3rd Panzer Army. But our actual supply, interestingly enough, is coming from over here at Braunsberg. Ah, okay, I see. See, these towns are acting like supply depots. Supply source for Army Group Center, 4th Army. These corps. This is actually quite an important town. That's rather intriguing. I honestly expected it to come from Königsberg. What do I have in terms of rail capacity? At 4,700. I could move in a Marine Division. Now, obviously, these forces aren't exactly, well, we do have a Hanover Infantry Division, actually. The Holstein Panzer Division. Yeah, I could move them onto the roundabout here. I could move them via the sea. That's probably the best bet. Do I have the option? I can't move you like that. Can I move you like this? No. We may not actually have the capacity as of this moment. Still a long way for them to push us back to Berlin. That is true. But we are rapidly approaching a critical point here. We are doing somewhat well. We're doing better in the center. We're doing better in the south than historically. In the north, though, it's definitely not working out too well. A lot of you will say you should not have tried to counterattack, and that is true, don't get me wrong, I realise that. But at the end of the day, I want this to be entertaining. We're going to try things. We're going to try something different. Really try to see what works and what doesn't work. Okay, move the headquarters closer to the front line, allow them to use their support to obviously, well, aid our troops here. There we go. We'll have the benefit of a decent amount of support. We do have heavy panzers over here, so 29 Tiger tanks, which are still quite deadly. They're not as deadly as they were, but they're still obviously quite formidable. Now I do have King Tigers over here, Königs Tigers. We actually do have more of them. 44 already, one of them is damaged. That's actually not a bad thing at all. Panzer Pioneer Squad 44. These guys are pretty damn tough. These are like panzers. Well, these are like mechanized pioneers. Panzer Grenadier Squad. Okay. They're actually pretty tough. Hello there, Kadra. How you doing, my friend? Okay. So, I was contemplating where to deploy these forces as of the last session. I'm still debating that. I do think it might be worthwhile to keep them in reserve for this time. I don't have the ability to do a HQ build-up, which is a shame, and those days seem to be gone. But I do think we could potentially hold here. Probably not too well, but we do have the means available to us. I do have a few extra resources that could be moved to the front line here, such as the 606 Infantry Division, which is actually quite a formidable division. Okay. I mean, this is quite the pressure point down here. Now, we did actually launch a successful counterattack here due to the Soviets giving us that room there, which has actually bought us some nice space over here. At least it's pushed the Soviets back, so they might be thinking, right, hang on a second. We're going to have to move men over to their area. mean, our defense isn't great. If the Reds push us here, they will beat us. Gonna move the headquarters further back. Ideally not via rail. About here. What I'll do then is, let's see. Hello there, Grey Knight, how you do, my friend? Now this is a difficult question. Because I need forces available elsewhere. I need them. But we can't exactly spare everything. We're also going to pull back the air forces to about here. Really do not want to be too close to the front lines. Not that headquarters. Okay. Move you on top of your actual unit there. Should give you some reserve, well, some staying power. Okay. I'm actually contemplating moving the reserve to this location here, perhaps. Thank you very much, mate. Right. I mean, what do we do here? Do we keep this unit in reserve? Probably the best bet. At least then, if they are forced back, we do have a unit to the rear. I'll reactivate the 152nd Division. They're now active. Right. You're actually under capacity. So I'll have you moved over here then. I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good, man. Thank you for asking. Damn. Now we can't take them off of train. What we'll do then is we'll move you over here. I'll have you assigned to that actual command. Then you can be taken off the trains next turn. I mean, this is a bit of a shit show. I do have extra forces here to move in, which is a very good thing. It will allow me to cover some of the gaps. I can't move to the front line, but it wouldn't kill us just to move back a little bit further. Okay, I'm going to shift some of these forces to the north here. Namely this infantry division. I could use these divisions to actually force back the these assault guns. They're light and medium. Oh wow, Cryptdog. Well done there, mate. I hope you do enjoy that. They're not too tough. I think we'll go for that. Right. No plant attack. I could go for a plant attack there. Okay, 3 divisions attacking from multiple angles. What did you actually find in here? I mean, this was only 111 AFVs. But at the end of the day, taking these bad boys out is actually worthwhile. I'd love to have known what they were made up of. I would have had to change the engineering value. Interesting. I'd have had to change the actual amount of information. But at least we do have them pushed back for the moment. Right. Hello there, new Hauser. How you doing? Okay, I can shift my forces over here. Do that. Right, move these divisions here. Move this division down the line. Okay, you obviously need to be reassigned. So this is... Okay. We'll have you reassigned. That is pretty amusing. Okay, we shift you up over here to the north. Okay, so obviously you're under capacity. You're over capacity. Under and over. Let's take a look at our national armies. What can they handle? The 4th Panzer Army and 9th Army. I think 9th Army is the one that's definitely struggling in terms of command points. Actually, that's Army Group A. That's pretty bad. Yeah. 9th Army and 4th Panzer Army. No good then, is it really? It may be best then to actually sign this Panzer Corps. I see. Okay. Move you over here. Have the headquarters sit on top of the Panzers. Right. And what I'm going to do then is assign you to the closest command. I'll have them reassigned. I do have a Panzer Division I need to reassign here as well. Somewhere. Yeah, we're still holding Lodz. Lodz is definitely on the front line here. Very heavily damaged. Whoops. The issue is we don't have the fortification, which is rather bad. Okay, I'm going to shift this Panzer Division over here to actually help out on this flank. Serve. I could have you assigned to the Grosse Deutschland Panzer Corps. I will do. Superb. Okay. Indeed, I mean, the artillery brigades are rather interesting. I mean, this was the thing, independent artillery brigades. Definitely be developed more throughout the war. I do have around 2 additional divisions over here. I mean, this is actually a small brigade. At the end of the day, they could be sent to actually start to fortify position. Which isn't a bad idea. I mean, which army is really crying out for resources? Do I send some to the south? I don't think so. I think maybe the 17th Army. Possibly the 17th. They definitely aren't in the best position right now. Yeah, 17th Army can actually handle quite a few more troops. Then again, it's a really difficult question to answer, to be fair. But I do think I do need more troops in this area. This is, like, quite critical. Okay, so I'm going to move these 606. Yeah, you're definitely over capacity, aren't you? Seventeenth Army could definitely do an additional corps. We'll move the Marine Division out. 3rd Marine Division. Got a Flieger Corps. Okay, we can't move you via rail at the moment. Right, I do have you. You could be moved. Okay, we'll do that. Have you assigned to the 17th Army? There we go. Superb. Push you to the front lines. Okay. So I'm going to keep holding these forces in reserve for the time being. I think they would be best served by really going to where we need them. Still can't assign you. I hope they don't. I really bloody hope they don't. And this situation is rather poor over here in the north at Kurland. At the end of the day, they still have to deal with that entire army group. Which, somewhat starved, well, quite starved, is still going to fight with absolute, well, the thing is, they know what happens if they surrender. They know. I don't think you'd want to surrender to that. Right, can I take these 2 corps over here? And can I have them assigned to the actual SS Panzer Army? I can, fantastic. Right, so what we're going to do here then is I can actually have units assigned to these corps commands. So that is going to take off a lot of pressure on these other armies. That's really nice. If the front breaks, Steel could be close. Well, this is it. We need to avoid that. Okay, what's the name of this corps? Mountain. We'll assign 5 divisions to this as we can manage. At the end of the day, this is actually going to help out these armies quite immensely. Obviously, we do lack the support there, but when support is available, it will be shifted. Okay. Impressive. We actually seem to have a superior commander in charge of this mountain corps. It's not a good colour, is it? Really isn't. Right, the 10th SS Corps. Right, your attached directly to 9th Army, so I'm going to change you. 10th SS Corps. And that would be about it. Okay. At least that has reduced the strain on these armies. That's good, at least then that gives it something of a bonus. Right, they they need to start fortifying ASAP. I mean, to be honest, I need to move these troops back so they can actually start to fortify too. Oh, hang on a second, it's actually 2 cities, isn't it? Cool. That's gonna break. If it breaks, we can't allow them into the city. To be honest, one of the East is actually really approachable. I'd say it's the most approachable of the Get Crispy's games, to be fair. Definitely one of the best. I think it has some of the best scale. I mean, Wall of Pacific obviously has the largest scale, the most density, and honestly is by far the greatest game, I swear to God. But I mean, I really do enjoy one of these just for the fact of the actual scope of the East is huge, truly huge compared to the West. Also, you do have quite a number of actual play styles. It's like obviously as the Jones and the Stadio are definitely advancing, and then as the Soviets is obviously trying to hold that, and then roles reverse. You have quite a mixed campaign, which is really rather interesting. Of course, the historical precedent that the game is based on is rather amazing too. So, best of both worlds in my opinion. Right, okay, so we are looking fairly good here. There's not much else that could be done, to be honest. So we'll allow this to go ahead, and we'll see how we hold. I don't have much in the way of hope, but we should be okay. Ideally. This is where we'll be interested. I think depending on what happens with Königsberg really dictates what happens here. If Königsberg falls and it's actually compromised, I'll pull back to this line over here from these units to Brownsburg, then we'll hold the line there. Oh man. Really do like our brigade. Right, here we go. Now, at least at Königsberg, we do have 2 ports there, so it could actually hold out for some time. I think it's fortified? I don't know if it actually is fortified, but I believe it's fortified. So it could actually be quite a strong point for some time, but that really does depend on whether we actually choose to keep it or not. I think I'd rather have the units, to be fair, but we'll see. That's definitely not the way we want to start out. This seems like our reaction call will be moved to this area, then just south of Breslau. North of Krakow. They do have a large amount of force here. Okay, we hold here. That's good news. Right, one of them was shattered. I'm not going to complain about those men holding the line there. And again, this is quite nice. Right. We do retreat. The 59th Army does definitely seem to be quite dangerous. We have the 8th Guard Army of the 6th. They're throwing a lot of armoured fighting vehicles at us here. A hell of a lot. Wow, we amazingly once again hold the line. And again, very impressive. At least we actually do have some fighter and bomber support. Right, encouraging results there. We do have some strong positions, at least semi-strong points. That does help us out quite significantly. Yep, we hold here as well. At least I can move my reaction core. And we'll have something to stabilize, that's the most important part. But we hold here as well. Actually doing phenomenally well there. Some of these forces are actually just digging their heels in and saying no further. Will be an interesting situation down here. I do wonder how the Soviets are going to deal with this. They're shifting their forces out here. Yeah, I'll start delivering some iron crosses. Those divisions have done phenomenally well. The Red Army is losing quite a few troops there. Not many, but still it's actually hurting them. They are determined to push through. See, I was hoping they would hold, because that was a key position there. But unfortunately, they do fall back. There's about 11 turns here. The scenario is 20 turns in total. Right, 50s have routed. Okay, 83rd holds the line. And that does push the router division into full flight. Okay, at least in positions like that, we do fall back and we do have units still on our flanks. They're losing quite a lot of men there. Look at that, 852 men lost. These numbers aren't exactly great, but they're better than what we've been experiencing. Yeah, it looks like we are going to be forced back to this new defensive line, and I don't think we have much of a choice about it. But the Red Army only has so much steam before it runs out, and it does need to recover. Routed. Yeah, they're really laying into us here. Ooh. Definitely. See, those units are now cut off, which is actually rather bad. Seems they seek to surround us. That is a large attack. We do hold there. That's almost 150,000 men. And we will have to launch a counter-offensive. Right, so they're routed, and we do lose quite a bit of support there. That's a lot of men lost. That's actually a phenomenal amount of men lost there. That was bad. That was actually really, really bad. Yeah, goodbye, East Prussia. I mean, for us to lose those men, that is actually phenomenally bad. I mean, with those guys being mechanized, that means we're losing Panzer Grenadiers. These aren't just your Volksgrenadiers. I'm telling you, we are getting our asses handed to us in the north. Bloody hell. We've had so many units routed here. That is not good. Routed. Bloody hell. Good lord, they're absolutely annihilating us here. I think this is the most successful Soviet offensive they've yet to launch. I mean, here I was worrying about Königsberg. This is anarchy. Right, thankfully we do hold that. We still have our grip on Königsberg. Barely. Oh my god. This is bad. We might start losing Luftwaffe planes here. Push back. Yeah, well, this is it. We have no reinforcements left. There's only drips and drags, and that's about it. Nothing is gonna come to save us. Yeah. I mean, this is it. No matter how bad the situation is, at least we always do have that's actually quite good losses there inflicted on the enemy. Yeah, this is actually going to be a really bloody turn. Thank God they held. Yes, we also we always have the ability to actually cobble together defenses. They're going to push so far. We're actually doing really well here on the kill-to-death ratio. That's quite nice. We can't allow them to pocket East Prussia. It's just going to be one of these things where we just pull back. I mean, I'm honestly aghast at what has happened to our Panzer Grenadiers. They were routed, and they were routed really heavily. Considering over 4,000 losses, nearly 5,000 losses there. Huge, huge losses are meant there. They've just absolutely broken through here. There's practically nothing in their way. But they may become drunk with success. They're out of position, I might be able to counterattack and actually deal some damage to some lone units. We'll see what we can do. Trundle, trundle, trundle. Indeed. I just can't believe how much territory they've taken there. We have panzers to the north. I think when I say counterattack, it wouldn't be anything grand. It would be more so just forcing a few divisions back, giving us a little bit of breathing room. Yeah, see, I knew that position was weak. We definitely have to consolidate now. Another routed. Okay, they do hold. And again. That's actually quite encouraging. Now, it seems like the Soviets are keen to exploit their newfound gains. Those men have just done so well. They do finally give in the end, however. But my lord, look at how many attacks they've withstood. So many. We are seeing massive holes in our lines here. Absolutely huge. Especially to the north. Yes, and the news keeps getting worse. Indeed, Knights crosses all round. I mean, the amount of hell they've been through. Okay, the Tatra Panzer Division is forced retreat as well. This is it. And the thing is, I was considering, do we actually send the reserve corps to the north for the Panzer Grenadiers and the armor? But I can pull back. We know we can give up Königsberg. But with Krakow, if I give that up, the southern flank is critically threatened. I can't allow that. Yes, the order is looking better every turn. Very, very true. Can you mass retreat this south and pull northwest? We could. The issue is the Soviets can dictate where they attack. Okay, this is bad. I mean, this one turn they've actually blown such large holes in our lines. Okay, they were fighting in clear, so that's not too bad. They've now been moved back into more than likely rough or mountainous terrain. Yeah, they're definitely opening a gap up by Krakow. Come on, game. That is a large tank. We do hold here at Lodz. That's very true. Just... Oh my lord. That has been a painful, absolutely painful turn. Yeah, so if I lose the center, I do lose practically everything. There's about 10 turns left now. I still dream Moscow. Okay. Just look at these losses. Not the largest amount that we've seen in total, but look at the men killed. That is huge. That's nearly 30,000 men lost. That's heavy. Now the Soviets did lose 43,000 men, almost 44,000 men. Thing is, it doesn't matter, they have the numbers. Well, more or less. They're not inexhaustible, but they might as well be for all intents and purposes here. Right, Blizzard. Another SS Grenadier division has arrived, as well as the 715th. These forces reorganizing. But that was bad. That was really bad. A lot of these forces now just unusable. And I look at this, 3rd Panzer Army retreated. All these forces were forced to move out of the area. That's bad. Very, very bad news. We'll have to retreat. They can't leave as of yet. Yeah. I still have my forces here. I still have these forces here to the north. It was definitely a punishing turn. We will push back 1 hex over here in the north, as we can imagine. Now this isn't a great situation. See, the thing is, the pressure around Lodz is diminishing to a degree. I'll just run my reconnaissance here. Yeah, we'll leave Königsberg. Do we leave Lodz? We'll see. probably for the best, considering this position isn't fortified. It's fortified now, but it's a little bit too late, isn't it? This is just too much. Considering this gap here, we need to close that gap. So I do have an opportunity here to push a little bit further in the south. Yeah, that's true. Thankfully, these forces can pull back in good order. Right, then let's take a look at this. Let's bring up the handy-dandy drawing tool. If we take a look, obviously, at the front line here, so I'm going to draw that on. It's still held by us, technically. Okay. Now, to think that our previous front line was, what, something like there? That's actually rather dramatic. As far as we go for defensive positions, let's take a look. So I'm going to draw those in, let's say, like a reddish. So I have the towns over here. Now, I don't really want to hold on to that one due to its proximity, but I could potentially hold it. These units might be able to be pushed back. We may end up pulling back to the Vistula time. You love my drawing skills, man. Just a minute. Right, so we do have the town over here. If only I'd been able to hold on to that one. As far as it goes for actual terrain, we do still have the forests over here. We do still have some swamp. That's quite nice. So, I don't know whether this counts as actually just clear terrain. I'd imagine it counts just as clear terrain. Not entirely sure. But I think as far as it goes, the defensive line will have to be something like... We'll just have to hold up here to Braunsberg. At the end of the day, this is actually going to consolidate the combat with a dramatic degree. Not to a dramatic degree. That's probably not too bad. If we retreat behind the Vistula now, I think we'll be pushed back too far. I think we need to just really make short measures. Give ground when we're forced to, but of course try to dig in as much as possible. The issues have not had time to dig in, which is why the Red Army is advancing so quickly. Okay. So I do have a good number of forces available still, which is very encouraging. The Second Army is in good order, relatively good order. Pull you back. The issue is all these forces that have been routed. What I'll do is I'll use the infantry from the Second Army, try to fill this in here. I could try to have a few units to dig in. It's just trying to find the ones available. Right, move the Luftwaffe back across the Vistula. Can't afford to lose these planes. Okay. And we do have these fortified positions. So these are level 3 fortified positions, which is quite nice. It means at least we have something to anchor us in the north, which does definitely help us out considerably. I mean, ideally I'd like to actually move these troops. I think I'll move these troops to the second line here. Try to start fortifying this line as much as possible. Braunsberg. I mean, I could even hold this position here with this fortress. At the end of the day, it's a level 3 fortified zone. It's going to be worth holding. I mean, we do actually have 2 level 3 fortified zones here. That's actually quite nice. That does give us something quite nicely. Yeah, thank you very much, mate. It's just a shame about these Panzer Grenadiers that were really butchered. Okay. The second army is going to have to make up for the losses. I do need to move these forces out. The issue is I can't actually retreat the Jaeger division here. We'll get out what we can. Okay, you can move. That's good. Now, I do have the town here. That would actually be worthwhile holding on to. The thing is, though, it does put me in contact with the actual enemy. And it will end the front to a degree. Or would it? It's a difficult question. I don't want my forces entrenched to the north to be exposed. We do have some strong panzer forces able to actually aid in their defense. Which is quite nice. We have the Panzer Division to the north as well as the mechanized SS Panzer Grenadier Division. Definitely not happy about having to pull back this far. And today, bodies have to be put on the front line. I think perhaps we hold this position here. At the end of the day, is a town, an urban centre, is a hell of a lot easier to hold on to. It won't hold, I know. But if it makes a difference, that's worthwhile. Okay, take that position back. Allow easier movement. Okay. Do I hold on to the town? I think not. It's a little bit too far exposed. We do have some light woods. See, this is a clear town. The town would be okay, but the thing is, they're still going to get their ass handed to them by armoured forces. We'll disband this fortified zone. There we go. It's not too bad here. We do have some decent strength. I think it's probably a better idea to have some units in the back. Yeah, look at that. 18th Panzer Grenadier Division took massive losses. She's been decimated. Absolutely decimated. Only 42% strength, roughly. We'll pull her back to the rear lines, ideally next to Danzig. Okay, we'll put the panzers here at the rear line. At least I'm consolidating quite a lot here, so we are going to increase our strength pretty rapidly. Let's move you down out of the way. I could move them to the port over here, so at least that moves them out quite easy. What do I have in terms of rail? That's actually a decent amount of capacity. Blizzard and snow. That's not a huge amount of manpower. It really isn't, is it? You look at that, 62,220. Use 3,101. We don't have a huge amount there. Yeah, that's pretty bad. So 22,860 men are going to be transferred to the front lines. A tiny amount, isn't it, really? When you look at this, and you look at what the actual table equipment calls for, we're far short. Far, far short. The issues is really down to the loss of vehicles. That's really hurting it. You take a look at the amount of supplies that my armies need, the amount that are making it to the front lines, even less this turn, by about 400 tons. 800,000 Axis population is missing. 150,000 has migrated. Yeah, a little more than a division's worth. I think we may have to try to evacuate these troops via the sea. I'll disband the fortified zone. They can't move too far, but hey. If we get them out of dodge, that's still better. We'll build up some strength here behind the lines. I think that's what we lack, really. It's just a strong backbone. You can't make it. You could make it, so you would be moved. The level 4 fortifications aren't anything to laugh at. Now, do I move them here? I could move them here, but it means abandoning the city. And I don't really have a choice, do I? I don't. Pains me to do it, really does. I do think perhaps leaving a actual division. I know they may be butchered. It's only 7,000 men. Nearly 8,000. Granted, that's a lot of men, but at the end of the day, at least in that position, they have a better chance to hold on. They'll move this routed unit as well. Yeah. Yes, what her general lacks is a strong backbone. I mean, this consolidation and the shrinkage of the combat wave really has... it's increased the amount of numbers on the front line. I think what we need to do then is really probably push the panzers to the south. I do still have some forces that can be shifted to the front line. But East Prussia, we've lost a good chunk of it, but it will hold, ideally. I think the Reds will probably push us back, but the thing is they're going to be pushing back into actual infantry as well. So that does make a big difference. Hello there, Paulson. How are you doing, my friend? Oh, Paulson. How are you doing? I do have an extra division over here I can throw on the front lines. The issue is all these forces here that we're forced to rouse. They do need time to actually replenish. It might be worthwhile just have them on a third line, perhaps. Start digging in as best as possible. I do have one division that can be moved down here, so I do need the actual rail capacity. Actually shift some extra forces here. Because frankly, this isn't great. So at least I have, what, 2 divisions? 2 extra divisions I can move to this area. The advance here is... Don't get me wrong, it's not great, but it's not the worst of our problems. Ah, boy. Just look at the shit amount of units here. Okay. So Königsberg may stand, more than likely will fall. Which is the first big German city to fall here. Okay. We do have an opportunity for limited counterattack down here. Who here remembers Warsaw. Well, to be fair, we're not that far from Warsaw, really. It's a shame that we weren't able to hold it, and that it fell so quickly. If it hadn't have fallen so quickly, who knows, we might have been able to put some kind of defense together. The issue is, I've been pushed so far the center, that it really is extended the line significantly. Had I been able to form a straight line, at least hold that, or at least hold a shorter line, it would have meant more troops on the front line. But, this is the world we live in. The only thing that really does cheer me up is the fact that I do have a Panzer Corps. And it's not great, don't get me wrong, it's not like a full-strength Panzer Corps. But at the end of the day, at least it's something there. There's actually some bite to it. We are holding over here, but I think it might be one of those times. I mean, do I give up Lodz? Probably the best idea. If I give up Lodz, I can shift some forces up here to the north, which is going to actually help rectify that situation. I mean, Lodz itself must be an absolute ruin of a city now. But what we'll do then is we'll go down here. I want to actually take a look at the actual, the sheer amount of battles here. Okay, just the one battle here. I need to find out where those units were. One of 6. Yeah, look at that. 6 battles. And just look at the numbers involved here. I think in the end it was just the fact that they'd been ground down so much. Strong attack there towards the end. This position as well. And you look at the numbers here that were attacking them. Not a huge amount of AFVs, but a lot of artillery. Yeah, then they finally give in. Okay, we'll run our reconnaissance. So what we'll do then is we'll abandon Lodz. Pull back. I mean, there's nothing there really worthwhile. It's only a light urban center as well. When they get to places like Breslau and Königsberg as well, which are... which is actually still classed as light urban, okay. Let's see, what's a heavy urban? Light urban. Light. How about Berlin? Oh yeah, heavy urban. Okay, so these are major cities. They do have Panthers. Yeah, Panthers. I mean, these Panthers are superb. Very, very good tanks. Well, I mean, obviously they'd break down, but which German tank didn't break down? I do have these panzers that could be shifted to the north. I mean, that's 3 panzer divisions. That's actually quite a remarkable amount of force. Okay. So what we're going to do then is we're going to start to shift our men here. We'll abandon Lodz with its fate. At the end of the day, they didn't have it great. Unbreak down a pole tank. That'd be nice. Okay, these forces can be manually marched to the front line. And the thing is, it's like, where do I actually put my core headquarters? I can't have them too close to the front line. I've got to have them within 3 hexes, otherwise they don't really receive that actual support. Yeah, the Warsaw infantry took a beating. Shift these men up. Okay. Another 2 panzer divisions. Right, we'll have you shifted over here. Have you changed to the Mountain Corps? Then these other infantrymen could be moved over here. Oh, they're actually static. That one is playing a lot. Damn it. You're not. You are static. I do have the Marine divisions. I'll move the Marines in down here. There we go, we'll have them assigned. Okay. Definitely need more men down here. Really no other way. Take them off the train, have them assigned to the nearest army. Right, we'll push them onto the front line. I do have the 163rd Division. Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shore up this part of the line here. Then once this is actually somewhat capable of holding, I can move the panzers down here. It's actually a rather formidable division. Okay, that's pretty nice to see. I'll take this poor one off the front line then. There we go. I could shift the panzer reserves down here to the south. That will do. Okay, have them set to reserve, of course. You'll be withdrawing in time. Deutschland Panzergrenadiers. Okay, the Brandenburg Panzergrenadier Division will be moved out. I'd say probably down here to help hold the line. Then again, they might serve better here. But I do have these forces to move in, so we'll move them here. Have them reassigned. Placed in reserve. Move that infantry division down here to the south. I'll move the 10th SS Panzer Division. Move the infantry here just to fill in that gap. Move the artillery down here. It's not a huge amount of guns. Only 150 guns, but at the end of the day, that's still a formidable amount of guns. Depends really on their size, but still, the numbers are worth something. So I'm going to reactivate this division. Take them off the train? Oh, well, I wish I could. Right, off the train, have them reassigned. They have no further movement here. I mean, this should be able to hold. Taking units out of Lodz has helped us to actually evaluate the front line. I think what I'll do is I'll move these forces to the north and then use the reserve to actually fill this gap in. They can easily reach there, so that's good news. A lot of these forces could do with a refit desperately. Interdicted. Though the enemy really didn't do too much. It damaged a few men. I'll just put these guys in the city. At the end of the day, that is going to give them the best chance of holding on. These guys are ready, well, besides the artillery. Okay, the 3rd Marine are moved in. The artillery could be moved here. Okay. You can see here, had they actually advanced further, they could have absolutely decimated our airfields. Which, as you can imagine, is not what we want. Okay. We'll move them to the front lines. Do I want to hold the city? I do have that headquarters I can move into the actual city itself. So I'll move them there. Move you to the front lines. Okay. The issue is, I've committed these troops now. And it's going to be a difficult thing to actually try to pull them back out. Okay. Well, that has actually filled in the gap. It has moved a considerable number of men to the area. It's something at least that is going to give us something to bite down here. Is what we need. Frankly, I need the weather to turn just enough so it actually slows the Soviets down. Long enough for me to actually dig in. That's the thing I need to do more than anything, is to actually dig in. I've not had the opportunity to do so, which has definitely made a big difference. By not being able to actually fortify our positions, it has meant we are taking significantly more losses. The Red Army can continue to steamroll quite effectively. And frankly, there's not a huge deal I can do about it. Move some extra men here. I really can't afford to lose the flanks. What's available will be shifted to this rear line. Ideally, I could actually use them to start digging some fortifications. Press these men to the front. Okay. Keep you in that position. Right. Pull back across the Vistula. Thankfully, the Red Army is a little bit weaker in this area, so that does give me some significant relief. It's a shame that we've had to abandon these locations. There's not a huge amount of supply. Thankfully enough. But it does mean that we do lose a little bit more manpower. Which in the end, manpower really is going to be the thing that would make or break us. Especially when it came to like a long war. Put you there on the rear line. I'm really trying to find extra units. Hanover Infantry Division. No, it's not going to be a long war. It would be rather intriguing as to what year it would actually finish. It's like, would we make it into 1946? That's the question. It makes you wonder, had the Reich been able to hold them until 46, what could we have seen? Could we actually see consideration of nuclear weapons against Germany? That'd have been rather amazing. Well, it'd been rather intriguing. You can imagine the change that it would have had on history and culture in general. That would have been a completely different world. Really no other way to describe that other than completely different, an alien world. The willpower. Yeah, the late war scenarios are rather brutal. Still have you. At least we still do have some forces. I could move some men, but I'll move the SS. I mean, the thing is they do have the higher morale than average. Give or take. 55, yeah, it's 55 what they have to. Yeah, just a little bit higher morale. That's interesting. Okay, move men over here. There we go. Which is more practical? Spend a lot of effort on building a defensive line deep in the rear, or repeat a small amount of effort, strengthen the front line while gradually push back? Oh yeah, you absolutely really should be trying to focus on fortifying. If the front line can hold, let it hold, but try to fortify as much as you can. I mean, this is it. I mean, the actual thoughts regarding nuclear weapons were completely different. At the end of the day, it was... well, it's just a big bomb. At least that is how it was somewhat thought of within the Army and Navy. Well, of course, the Air Force, I suppose. Well, the Air Force. Would it be the Army or the Air Force? I suppose just the General Staff. I suppose they would have considered it more of a big bomb. I mean, this is it. It's one of these things, isn't it? They do talk about how the evils of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but you compare this to the firebombing, the incendiary bombing. So you look at what happened to, was it Dresden, the firebombing of Dresden? The firebombing of multiple cities. One of those things, it wasn't a big boom, but rather thousands and thousands of incendiary devices. And those things did not play around. Okay, we could launch a small counterattack here in the south, which is nice. It does actually mean something. At least, if I could actually make it to this line here. Well, to be honest, if I could make it to this line of mountains here and rough terrain, that would honestly be the best position for me. If I was then able to actually fortify that, that would allow me to move more men to the north, which would be great. Yeah, that's the, I mean, that's the point, isn't it? They were defeated before that point. Yeah, 100,000 killed in a single firebombing attack in Tokyo. That's a lot of people. As you guys can imagine. Okay, we'll attack here. Oh, they're actually shattered. That's cool. Very little losses as well. That's nice. Yeah, I know, Ryan. Just wait, though. One of these two is going to be amazing. I cannot wait. I think Dresden was a message to the Russians. I mean, jeez. See, can you imagine? I really do hope that one of these two has some good modability. It would be amazing to see an operational unthinkable. That would be the scenario. Can you imagine actually persecuting a operational unthinkable scenario? That'd be amazing. I mean, the thing is, they'd have to obviously factor in atomic weapons somehow. But again, that could be just really used against cities, which it would be used against cities, I suppose. It's not often that you would have units concentrated to such a point where you could really make effective use of them, I suppose. What was the name of the actual... There's a Soviet operation where they were actually testing out nuclear weapons and how armies could operate within these actual nuclear blasted hellholes. What was that called? It was down here in, what was it, Kazakhstan perhaps? No, not Kazakhstan. Further, like, down over here, obviously, where Central Asia. Can't remember which nation it actually took place in. But that's an interesting read. Okay. There's not a huge much else I could do here. Wow, that's intriguing. What do we have in terms of rail capacity? I can still move a division, which is actually worthwhile. I'll actually have them assigned to this division. How do I? Do I? Indeed. Now, it's not long left until we actually persecute the turn. I'm just trying to see when I can actually make some difference. Okay, they're off the actual trains and they're actually ready for combat. We'll leave you in reserve. Oh, ready will do. Ready will do just fine, I guess. Not a huge amount I can do here. Worst thing comes to worst is we'll just fold into this actual small pocket. Okay. Other than that, there's really nothing else that can be done. We just have to hold our best here. We might find some possibilities. In fairness, I think I'll just pull back here. Yeah, rough terrain. We are making some small progress here, which is really nice. Okay. So with that, Königsberg will fall, or potentially fall. It's definitely going to be surrounded and cut off. Ideally, that might buy some time, actually, as the Reds will try to take Königsberg. I'd imagine they will do. The forecast is still snow, but we'll see how that changes. We've moved our Luftwaffe units further to the rear. I'm going to continue to move them to the rear. I think at the end of the day, we need to move them quite far back. Yes, indeed. The Vistula is such a big river. Okay. The USA tried using strategic bombing to aid a breakthrough in them. The result was that 3 German divisions were destroyed, but the infrastructure in the area was totally destroyed and the land was generally passable. Okay, so I think we'll use this, considering I really don't have much else coming here. We do have some reinforcements in 1011. A new corps, Volkskamjägers, and the 561st SS Panzer Jaeger Battalion, which is actually worth something at the end of the day. I mean, the Volkskamjägers especially, they're quite powerful, quite nice. And the turn after, we'll have the 33rd SS Grenadiers, 15th. And, yeah. I mean, the most we'll get is just a couple turns. I even lose divisions here. The 11th SS Panzer Army is going to be gone. Right, here we go. Here comes the pain. So the Lodz has now fallen. Well, it will fall. We've definitely put up a good fight for Lodz. That's not the way I wanted that to begin. That really is not the way I wanted that to begin. Ah, boy. Wow. Okay, thankfully we held that. See, if I was actually able to inflict large casualties on the enemy, we'd actually have a better chance. But the fact is that I'm not really doing that. The loss ratios are more or less the same. Yeah, look at those stacks of Russians. No kidding. No kidding indeed. Right, they hold. See, like that, when we actually do have a good position and good units, we do inflict good losses. Things are becoming significantly worse. There's really no two ways about it, to be fair. We may very well end up being pushed back to the Vistula within a turn or two. Yeah. I mean, that's the one. It's like I managed to move some forces there, but frankly, we didn't have that much. We may very, very well end up having pulled back to the Vistula. I mean, I'm surprised how some of these units have retreated. But the thing is, these guys don't have the amount of supplies they need. They don't have the replacements they need. Their morale is short. That's true. Yeah, clear terrain is the issue. I mean, a lot of this actual terrain really does facilitate offensives. It doesn't look like this line's going to hold either. And this pain is nowhere near being over. I mean, you take a look at those routed units there, those are worthless. Those are just going to scatter to the wind. Jesus Christ, they routed. Okay, we might lose a city here. I don't think there's anything to stop them. This city is more than likely going to fall here. Bloody hell, look at those numbers. almost 150,000 men. Men of the Reich, you must hold this front line. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, you can't blame his way of thinking, considering his actions in 1941, like the order not one step back. You can understand why he might think it would work again. Our lines have just been disintegrated here. The Soviets are behind, but they're definitely making up for it now. My men have just been routed far too often now. This is becoming an actual issue. It wouldn't be so bad if they weren't all being routed. Okay, Königsberg does hold. It's not going to hold for long, but at the end of the day, this is actually distracting over 100,000 men. Okay, we do hold here. Okay, we may very well seriously take a look at evacuating Kurland. We'll have to go by priority. Priority is going to be the armored forces. We're not going to be able to get everybody out of there. This city is just barely clinging to life there. There's some defenders, but not many. Our men just keep routing. They cannot keep routing. If they keep routing, we will lose everything. We always do have heroes, but for every hero there's what, 100 cowards? I mean, then again, coward is such an awful word. Can you imagine being in this hell? And if you go AWOL, your family isn't going to exactly do well, are they? You're going to most likely be shot as a deserter. The Reds certainly aren't going to treat you any better. Bloody hell, they took the city. They've really geared up for an offensive here. A bulge in the middle seems inevitable. Will it be a full rout, or can the bulge be, well, can it be contained? Oof. I want to say yes, but considering the sheer amount of forces being routed, it's not looking great. Really isn't looking great here. I'm not entirely sure about the morale. It might be a potential reason. How big upload do you have to have stream something like one of these? Oh, bloody hell. I don't even know how you check that. My upload speed's not great. I mean, UK internet service providers are absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. Unless you're actually in an urban area, even then you're not always guaranteed. But just look at the sheer amount of bloody routed forces there. Jesus Christ. Do I dare count the amount of that being routed? Do I dare? Jesus, 216,000 men. Those numbers are incredible. Right, we need to get the hell out of Scotland. We need to get out. The thing is, I don't even have a big influx of reinforcements to help out. Hello there, Van Bishop. How you doing, my friend? Well, I didn't anticipate us to be losing such a degree. I thought we would have been able to hold them. I was actually hoping that we would have been able to engineer circumstances for the actual counter-offensive, but yeah, that was never going to happen, was it? We can tell what's been going on. Basically, not good. In a nutshell. Now, thankfully, these panzers do hold. I say that they might be attacked again. Jesus. Yeah, time to run to Posen. I mean, Krakow just barely held on. I'll see you later then, Newhauser. Don't forget to recommend more books. I mean, to be fair, after this stream's over, I'm going to go through to the hospital. I kind of slid over to my ankle today, but I wanted to get this stream done. So after this is over, around about 8 o'clock-ish, then hospital time. Yay. Oh dear. Okay, the loss is here. 46,996 men. The Soviets did obviously lose. They seem to lose about 58 to 60,000 each time. Alright, man. I've got my leg propped up on some pillows here just to the side. I'll send you a picture, but you'd laugh. Oh dear. Okay, so Königsberg has actually held on, which is quite nice. At least we do have both divisions ready for combat now, which is nice. Yes, indeed. Oh dear. At least that's something. I'm going to continue to hold here in Königsberg, due to that it is just a very well fortified position. It's going to take up a lot of Soviet attention as well, which is really quite good. Okay. I mean, how do we pull back from this hell? See, the Reds have actually redeployed all their stronger forces over here. It does make me wonder, do we perhaps launch a counter-offensive down here to the south? It's no good situation. There's none. Not a good situation here at all. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Yeah. Well done, man. Well done. Right. Where are the Reds going here? The entire card ran, leaving a monstrous hole in my line. Jesus. Wow. Okay. We'll do another reconnaissance run here. One more. Really try to understand the situation here. Now, parts of this are rather intriguing. There are really quite weak points in their line here. Like, for example, they only have, like, what seems to be assault guns on the front line. Brigades, anyway. Nothing too special. Now, this breakthrough is dangerous. See, in parts, it actually is my job to play these games. Well, a second job. I wish it was the first job, but hey. Ah, dear. Right. So Königsberg is still going to be resupplied. It's still obviously considered to receive those supplies nicely. We do need to take a look at what we can actually rescue here. I think even if we do try, I think we're just going to have to consolidate and get men out. Absolutely get them out of here. Try to move these strong divisions. Okay. They can be moved, which is great. At the end of the day, we need them moved. Okay. We're going to start to evacuate Kurland. Interdicted. Not a huge loss of life. You imagine being these troops coming off the ship. And you're not coming into a great situation, are you? That's fantastic, man. But these troops are actually fairly formidable. Look at their morale. Holy moly. Yeah, just look at the difference here. Actually, some of these troops have some really decent morale. That's intriguing. 68, 64. It seems like the morale here in the center is just really quite low. 52, 65, 80. Yeah, it just seems like these divisions have been pushed back continuously. Their morale has dropped to very low levels. Right, so we've managed to get 2 divisions out so far. What we're going to do then is we're going to have to consolidate and really round things off. What I'm going to do next is move out the 4th the 4th Panzer Division. Okay. Right, I can't move you as of yet. Okay. Personally, I would like to try pushing that pocket of troops to the north down to the coast around Memel. And probably take higher losses, not sure if it would be worth it or not. I don't think we'd make it. I really don't. The issue is we just don't have the resources to continue pushing. I did surrender Memel quite easily. Do somewhat regret it now, but... Okay, so we do have a big victory point advantage here at the moment, which actually is quite nice. So Memel has fallen. Warsaw isn't even objective. Yeah, the most they've got is Memel. At the moment, that's where they're getting all their points from. Obviously, the rest of their points are coming from Axis losses, guns, AFVs, and aircraft. So... war in the Mediterranean. You mean war in the West. But it would be interesting to play an Egyptian campaign. At this point, probably too late, but the start of the campaign push to Memel might be feasible. Would be rather intriguing. Okay. So, in terms of victory points, we're actually doing quite nicely. Which is actually making a major difference here. We might end up winning a victory point battle. Well, you know what I mean. We'll win possibly through victory points. Let's see. They've obviously got objectives down here. No, Krakow. I do want to try and hold on to Krakow. I will try to do my best there. Their next objective would be Breslau over here. How about in the far south? The far south, nothing really. They haven't taken the city, so I would be able to walk back in there, reassume my positions. They're really a mixed bag here in the south, actually. I do wonder if they're actually moving their forces here into the center, which would make a lot of sense. But the fact is, I'm going to continue to punish them for this as much as I can. At the end of the day, if I continue to push here in the south, that means they're forced to keep their attention here. And at least I do have the Carpathian Mountains to help me out. Okay, so we will launch a big counterattack here. Look at that, only 33,000 men. Not exactly a huge counterattack, is it? Right, so now we actually do have some rough terrain to move into. Lovely. Cheer your little heart out, my friend. Okay, imagine these mounted forces could probably handle this alone. And they do, thankfully. See, this music is really... it's like really encouraging. That's what I like about this. It's very encouraging, but at the end of the day, we don't have that much in the way of force. But this is rather interesting to see that the Red Army has pulled back. This actually does allow me to consolidate my alliance to a good degree. For example, I could move some of these infantry divisions to the front line, which means I could move some Panzer Grenadiers or even actually some Panzers here to Krakow. Winning is holding on to Germany for longer than it was historical, and surrendering earlier would leave Germany in a better position post-war. Well... yeah... See, these units are actually well supplied. Most of them anyway, these units over here aren't too well supplied. Okay. I could fall back to this fortified position here. It would mean surrendering the port. But at least we would actually have a good defensive position. We'd have a hell of a lot of men here. Hell of a lot. And I collected at that time Hitler was in charge of this army group. Now, that's a question. We'll take a look at the order of battle then, shall we? As we have Heinz Guderian, General Ulber, Ferdinand Schroner, George Hans Reinhardt, General Otto Willer, General Ulber's Alfred Jodl. Okay, what do you guys reckon? In Kärnten, should we fall back to this defensive line here? We do lose the support. But we do obviously have the advantage that we are going to be a hell of a lot, a much tougher nut to crack. And there might even be potential for an actual counterattack depending on how the Red Army redeploys. I mean, I could always try to cut them off over here against the Gulf of Riga. Try to destroy them, cut them off. Let's see. The, well, Army Group North has been tenacious, if anything. I think we will pull back to this line. At the end of the day, it does mean that I actually have some good fortifications to fall back onto. I'm not just going to get picked to pieces. Which is always a nice benefit. Okay. So we will give ground here. Yeah, that's true. I mean, this is it. We do need to try to evacuate. Issues is going to become very cramped in here. It's a shame that we lost this point here. That does make it much tighter. Move the Panzer Grenadiers down here. Oh, the Visual group. Interesting. I might even have to disband some of these units. Okay. So this is it. Army Group North has fallen all the way back to its absolute limit here. I mean, we do have some ability to fall back a little bit further. I do have some room. But otherwise, we are going to have to start to actually disband some of these troops. I can try to evacuate some units over time. And at the end of the day, these units here in the north actually do have, well, formidably good morale. I'm not going to say good morale, I'm going to say formidably good morale. At the end of the day, this morale is actually very impressive compared to the rest of the line. I think as far as it goes for the actual center bulge here, it's all up in the bag. Thankfully, we still have these positions that we can walk back into. We can merge units if they belong to the same division. I think there are some rules for merging some other units, but I'm not familiar with them. Something I've never really had the opportunity to do, to be fair. Okay. Don't give up. Okay, good luck to them to take the city now. Pull these troops back over here. Okay. So these Jaegers are actually really formidable here in the mountain. If I can continue to push here, try to really narrow this line down, it is going to mean that we can actually have our forces in greater strength, well, increase the density of the defenders. But as far as it goes, even the reserve corps, they're not going to be able to make the difference here entirely. It's going to be a case of having to shift panzers around. I mean, the fact we've been pushed back over here is really quite poor. I'll have to continue to just fall back as much as possible. There will be a point at which the Reds will find it difficult to push us back, and that may very well be the Vistula, as we did talk about. Now, Bromberg does present a very good and very strong defensive position. I think what we may do here then is, let's see. I'll begin to create a series of fortified zones. Probably would have been better from over here, but oh well. Ideally, they last long enough to be actual, well, be of actual use. But I do need to fortify my position here in the north. We'll fortify along the river Vistula. Okay, this actually just turns out to be long enough. Fantastic. Okay, so we have a few new fortified zones over here, along the river Vistula. So ideally, we'll take them some time. So the longer I hold here, it does give my men over here the time they need to actually start to dig in. Which is very, very good news. Static forces there in Berlin. I do have some troops over at Prague. And we do have the 10th Volkskammerjäger Division, which is phenomenal, along with the 487th as well as the 418th. And I do have the rail capacity to actually move them. That's good news. So at least with that, we do have some actual... Well, the Volkskammerjägers are actually pretty good troops, as well as 2 extra infantry divisions that can be funneled into this area. I mean, the issue is we just keep being routed. It doesn't look so bad in the turn after due to that, well, all the routed units do tend to return to active service. Obviously, they're neither going to be in the same shape. I mean, how is our Panzer Grenadier Division getting on? Yeah, the 18th lost so many men. So many men. Just too many, really. Too many for us to really be able to come back from that in any short time, or time frame. We'll take a look at the weather prediction. So we are seeing a prediction of snow. Okay, 4th SS Panzer Grenadier Division was upgraded to 45 SS Panzer Grenadier Division. Right. I mean, this is it. This was roughly our original positions over here. Our original positions would have been something maybe like that. Possibly further out. Actually, no, definitely further out. Considering that we had all the north over here. The Reds are bleeding for every inch of ground here. Which is good. How many men do we still have within the Wehrmacht? Okay. FE numbers are okay. Not great. If I was to take a look at my production. One unit is actually equipped with these bad boys. Right. I mean, this is it. It's definitely not me when it comes to CMANO. I used to know how to play that game. I just need to learn how to do it again. But I'm definitely not an expert on it. But alas, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, reds and blacks. By blacks I meant fascists. Making it worse. Yes, I'm going to blame it on the painkillers. So yes, we have finally reached our allotted time frame here. So I would like to say thank you so very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And I hope you do tune in for the next stream. Now, we do have a lot of critical points here. This situation is continually deteriorating. Thankfully, Krakow did stand barely. considering we had, what, a security regiment. We had only 1,290 men there. That would have been two headquarters, an important headquarter, the actual army group headquarter, that would have been ejected from Krakow, and that would have been our lines open. We could try to we could fortify Krakow with extra men. We'll try to see what we can do. We do have a few extra divisions, about 3 extra divisions, that can be pushed to the front lines. And we'll try to pull back here, try to reform a line. The issue is we're being pushed into open and clear terrain. The terrain is absolutely brutal to us, and it's absolutely beautiful for the Reds. We have deployed a new fortified line, which is going to take some time to actually dig in. But once it does, at least we'll have some fortified positions pre-prepared. Over here in Kurland, we have put back into this enclosed area. And, well, frankly, you take a look at the amount of men here. It's by no means a small amount of men. Yeah, Army Group North has 417,000 men. That is a lot of people. But yes, until next time, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And thank you again to Slytherin and Matrix for making this possible, as well as the One of the East and One of the West developers. So what I will be doing here is I will leave a link down to my channel, if you guys would actually like to come over and see me again in the future. Until then, goodbye.